Is this what you want? This fucking foliage? Is this what you want? Mr. Dips? Is this what you want? Me standing in front of EC3 buying designer coats? Is this what you want? Me sitting in some hipster hotel in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, fluffing pillows? Is this what you want? I don't believe this. This graffiti art, it's the hotels, avocado toast. All I want is a fucking Guinness. An ice cold Guinness. What the hell does that mean? Oh, this is what you wanted. This is your Monday Night Raw review right here on Off the Script. I don't believe what I watched tonight. I really don't believe what I watched tonight. As a fan, I want to give up. I genuinely want to give up, man. You know, a lot of you guys come here and you put your faith in me. You put your faith in me. And I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. By the way, if you're already wondering why I have the SmackDown colors on the Raw show, why the fuck not? WWE seemingly doesn't give a shit where anybody goes. I don't give a fuck what color you see in the layout on a Monday and Tuesday night. Simple as that. WWE doesn't care. I don't care. I know a lot of you guys have faith in me to deliver logic and to watch these shows for you. I don't know how long. I don't know how much longer I could do it. I don't. I really don't. There are people who love the product just as much as I do in the community that have weekly podcasts that are closing up shop. I got people on my timeline on Twitter who used to rush home to watch Monday Night Raw, who no longer put that effort into getting home and watching it on time. I have people who do not even DVR it anymore. I have people who just don't watch at all, and you wait for me to talk about Monday Night Raw. It got so bad tonight, again, we had to tweet Vince McMahon. We had to tweet Vince McMahon during this fucking show. And I know it's not going to do anything. I know it's not going to do anything. I do it because it makes me feel good. In the moment that I do it, it makes me feel good. Even though it accomplishes nothing. Even though our voices will go unheard. Even though everything that he said he was going to do back in December, taking the shows over again and the McMahon family giving the power to the fans, it's all bullshit. I tweeted him again tonight. Dear Vince McMahon, you have given us a show that is actually worse than last week. It may be the worst of 2019. No logic, sheer chaos, making the brand split irrelevant, and your blatant disrespect for tag team wrestling is sickening. You are not a genius. Far from it. Hashtag Raw. WWE is in panic mode. Panic mode. Because of the ratings drop-off. And for all the fucking imbeciles out there who claim that ratings don't matter, which was another thing I seen tonight on social media. The ratings don't matter. Tell that to Fox when they go to Fox Sports. Tell Fox that the ratings don't matter. WWE will have a major problem on their hands if they're delivering shows like we seen tonight in October. How Fox paid for this fucking shit is a mystery to me. It's as if they went into this deal blind. without knowing what they're actually spending their money on. Vince McMahon brought Roman Reigns back to Monday Night Raw for one reason and one reason only, and that was a desperation maneuver. A Hail Mary to try and save or salvage whatever ratings he could on this evening. And no, it's not because of the NBA playoffs, and no, it's not because of the NHL playoffs. It's not because of any sporting event on any other channel. These things have been happening forever. The NBA playoffs have been happening forever. The NHL playoffs have been happening forever. Monday Night Football has been happening for as long as we've been alive. MLB has the playoffs every single fucking October. It is not any other reason but WWE's own doing. So when you're quick to judge other people for calling this shit out and cite reasons of, oh, well, WWE is up against other competition. They've been up against other competition forever. While Monday Night Raw has been on for 25 years. On whether it's USA Network, whether it was TNN, whether it was fucking Spike, whatever the fuck channel they were on. It doesn't matter. WWE's ratings are a direct effect or influence because of what they're doing. It's not any other reason. It's not anybody else's fault but Vince McMahon. Bringing Roman Reigns back to Monday Night Raw was not a reason, an answer for the failing ratings. Making a wild card stipulation for your show was not a plausible reason. None of this makes sense. Nothing but a fucking band-aid over your fucking failures. I'm tired of running around in circles, having these fucking shitty ideas thrown at us that don't make any sense, covering up what the real fucking issue is. None of this makes sense. None of it. None of it was needed. And it really came off in the worst, most sloppiest way fucking possible. I don't know how anybody enjoyed this fucking show tonight. I really do not understand how you can find any positivity out of this show without attacking what the major problem is. And the funny thing is, Vince McMahon came out to start the show. Roman Reigns came out, soon followed. And it was nothing but a half an hour of Vince McMahon calling himself a genius. A genius. How much of a genius is Vince McMahon? Why don't we dissect that one aspect alone? How much of a genius is Vince McMahon? Sociopath. Sociopath. This is the word of the fucking year every Monday night to describe who is in charge of WWE. A fucking sociopath. He's calling himself a genius and getting the crowd to cheer him because he's calling himself a genius. He's looking for fucking praise from the audience, knowing that what he's doing is a fucking failure. A genius. Vince McMahon instituted a wild card on Monday Night Raw going forward. How much of a genius is Vince McMahon? We got 3 members of Raw showing up on SmackDown Live. We have 3 members. Oh, by the end of the night, it went up to 4. 4 members of Monday Night Raw can show up on SmackDown Live. 4 members of SmackDown Live can show up on Monday Night Raw. A rotation of talent that will run dry by week 3. Because who the fuck is going to watch Monday Night Raw when you're going to move a fucking Rusev over to Monday Night Raw? Will they even get the opportunity to be moved over to Monday Night Raw? And again, at that point, who's going to tune in for that big ratings grab of Shinsuke Nakamura? Out of your fucking mind. Genius, you say. Genius, you say. The superstar shakeup that WWE made a big deal out of. Everything that they did was rendered useless by 2 words tonight. Wild card. Everything that you did on those two shows, Monday and Tuesday night, was a complete and utter waste of our time. But Vince McMahon's a genius. Vince McMahon's a genius. He proceeds to book WrestleMania rematches in Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. That was one of the worst matches on WrestleMania Sunday. Everybody shit all over that match, yet he thinks people want to see it here again tonight. Genius, you say? Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan, WWE Championship match. 3 years since we've seen a WWE Championship title match on Monday Night Raw in the main event. Or you could go back to the night after WrestleMania where there was a WWE Championship match on Monday Night Raw in the main event. Or did you forget about that night? I didn't. Oh, but JD, that was the Universal title too. That wasn't just the WWE title. Spare me. Title match is a title match. WWE title was on the line in that match, wasn't it? WWE title was on the line tonight, wasn't it? Same shit. Vince forgot what happened a month ago. Genius, you say? AJ Styles and Seth Rollins in the same fucking match, in the same ring, for a second week in a row, and nobody in that audience gave a single fuck about two of your top baby faces on WWE. What do? You proceed to book them in a tag team match against Baron Corbin and Bobby Lashley. Vince McMahon's a genius, you say? Absolutely out of his fucking mind. The man needs to step down. He needs to have his role reduced. The stockholders and the shareholders do not know what the fuck is going on. They are constantly fed bullshit by this old man, and I'm sick and fucking tired of it. Sick and tired of it. This is an absolute fucking dumpster fire of epic proportions, and nobody is speaking up on this shit outside of a select few of us in the community. It will do nothing. Week by week, I am finding it much more difficult, and I've been a fan for 30 fucking years. You will not find a loyal WWE supporter as big as me. I've watched this company fucking die. I've watched this company fucking be reborn. I've watched this company go through the ups and downs. And here I sit today in 2019, and I can barely stomach this fucking program on any given night outside of a Wednesday. I don't want to feel this way. I don't want to feel this way at all. It's not changing up and making shit irrelevant that you told 2-3 weeks ago. It's not adding a superstar like Roman Reigns to Monday Night Raw. It's not adding a superstar of AJ Styles back to SmackDown Live. It's not getting the WWE title on Monday Night Raw in the main event. Which, by the way, Vince is a genius though, right? What happened to the rematch clauses? Why is Daniel Bryan getting a fucking rematch for the WWE Championship when he's been out with injury for a month? What has he done? Vince is a genius though, right? It's not any of those things. None of those things are the issue. The talent is not to blame. The talent is being told what to do, and they go out there and do it. It is not the talent's fault. Everything that you've seen tonight was an absolute waste of your fucking time. WWE is in sheer desperation mode. WWE single-handedly showed every single one of you, if you have a functioning fucking brain, to realize what you're watching. The panic is fucking palpable. You taste it by just watching the television. They don't know what they are doing. They don't. It is absolutely fucking sad to watch this show become what it has become. I feel like I'm watching a senior citizen dying in the fucking nursing home, struggling to fucking grasp for that one last breath. Put it out of its fucking misery already. Sad. Absolutely sad. I don't know what to say anymore. I really don't. I really don't. I'm trying not to raise my voice. I'm really trying. I'm very, 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 very close from just fucking exploding. I don't want to do it. It's a late hour. I don't want to do it. I'm going to kill you with fucking logic tonight, man. I really am. I'm going to go over this entire fucking show, and I'm going to pinpoint everything that did not make fucking sense. Again, I uttered to every single one of you this wild card, this shakeup that continues to happen week after week after week. If you aren't ending the brand split, cut the shit. All you need to do, the one thing you need to do, that should be the most simplest fucking thing in the world, with as much talent and manpower you have in this fucking company on your payroll. You have one job to do, and that is to write a better show. And they can't seem to do it. They cannot seem to write a good wrestling show. And they figure out every other fucking option is going to work, and none of it works. I'm a genius, he says, for a wild card shakeup. Does Vince McMahon fucking know that there's been a wild card shakeup since the Survivor Series? November, December, January, February, March, April, and on into May. There's been a wild card stipulation in place unofficially that's been happening through Raw and Smackdown, and now we get an official wild card shakeup. I guess they didn't realize that was happening right on their shows on Monday and Tuesday night. So what is the difference between what we've seen all those months leading into WrestleMania compared to now? What? Yeah, people jumping from fucking Raw to SmackDown and SmackDown to Raw every single week. Charlotte was showing up on Raw. Rousey was showing up on SmackDown. Becky was showing up on Raw. Meanwhile, tonight, I have to take the wild card stipulation seriously. And I have to be fucking told that the wild card shakeup is going to be unpredictable, and I don't know who's going to land on what show on a given week. How many of the talents are going to be given that opportunity to switch brands? You ain't going to see the lower bottom of the fucking ladder start switching shows. WWE is going to run dry of this gimmick faster than you can fucking breathe. And then what? Then what? Then you're going to go right back to doing what you should be doing right now, and that's ending the fucking brand split. You're doing everything but the actual thing that you need to do. And again, I urge and I stress, it is not the fucking talent. Get this man out of power. It all starts at the fucking top. The head of the snake is where you need to start. Cut it off and get rid of it. The man is damaging his own fucking product. He's damaging his own shows. He doesn't give a fuck about anybody but himself. Sick and tired of this shit. There's no doubt in my fucking mind that I would put every fucking penny I have in my bank account on it. The man wants to kill the company before he passes. The man doesn't give a fuck about anything else. The ego on Vince McMahon is greater than I've ever fucking seen. It is greater than any power that walks this fucking earth. Can't do right by NXT. NXT does something right. He wants to kill it because it's not something that he created, and he doesn't want to look like a fucking failure because of others' ability to create. Vince doesn't want WWE to succeed when he's not around because he's not there. He either wants to fucking make it great or he wants to kill it. And he's not going to give power to someone else to ruin his legacy. You think Vince McMahon laying 6 feet under in the fucking grave wants somebody else running a WWE that's better than anything he's done? Because we certainly could be. We certainly could be there. But he will never allow it. He will never allow it. Triple H, Stephanie, Shane, no matter who the fuck's in charge. You could put Jesus Christ in charge. Vince does not want anyone outside of him running the company and creating something that is good. It's either good on his watch or it's going to die on his watch. This is the fucking fact. This is the fact. You see it with NXT. You see it with NXT. He's damaged NXT at certain times of the year without a fucking care in the world. Killing storylines, pulling guys up knowing that they're fucking injured and sending them out to TV to wrestle matches that are irrelevant and useless. Careless and damaging behavior by the man in charge, and someone has to step forward and put a fucking end to it. Vince is a genius, though. Vince isn't a fucking genius. Vince is a murderer. Vince is a fucking cold-blooded murderer. He is killing his company every single fucking week, more and more and more and more. And when you see more fucking people demand a release or stop coming to work, and when you start seeing those contracts come to an end and you wonder why nobody is re-signing with the WWE, I want you to look at a show like this, and I want you to look at a show that you've been watching for 3 fucking years. It is not that difficult to figure out what the problem is or why people are leaving. All you need to do is look at Dean Ambrose. That's all you need to do. Why didn't Dean Ambrose stay? Why didn't Dean Ambrose stay with the WWE? They probably offered him the fucking sun, the moon, and the goddamn fucking stars to stay with their company. For all the money in the world, couldn't keep Dean Ambrose in the WWE. What could it be? Why did he leave? He's probably at home in Las Vegas with his fucking feet up on the couch, laughing his ass off as to what he's seen tonight. If he was even watching. I hope that man ends up in All Elite Wrestling. I swear to God, I hope he burns the wrestling world down to the fucking ground as a proving point to everybody who fucking continues to support this fucking garbage. Dean Ambrose going somewhere else is the start of the fucking exodus you will see in WWE. This show is a fucking complete goddamn embarrassment. I swear on everything that I fucking own. I swear on my grandfather's fucking tomb. I hope WWE suffers the worst fucking rating in the history of this company to a point where they cannot come back from it. I hope they suffer the biggest fucking ratings drop in the history of this company, so much so that they will never be able to break their fucking record after the show we've seen tonight. Complete garbage. Complete fucking garbage. I got a SmackDown fucking layout in this shit, because if WWE doesn't care, then I don't fucking care. I'm not doing a Monday Night Raw review. I don't know what the fuck I'm watching. SmackDown guys on Raw, Raw guys on SmackDown. What difference does it fucking make? Roman came back. Roman's the fucking savior. Now you got him in the fucking thumbnail. Now you gotta look at him for a fucking hour. Bullshit. Social media. JD from NY206 on Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Patreon.com/JD from NY206 if you guys want to support the podcast on Patreon. This podcast is brought to you tonight, sponsored by Audible. audibletrial.com/offthescript. I want to thank everybody for supporting Audible and getting your free audio book. 30 days free of Audible. Go through the sign-up process. As a thank you, they're going to give you one free audio book of your choice. Over 200,000 choices to choose from, a lot of which are wrestling related. Once again, that's audibletrial.com/offthescript. Getting something for free simply for listening to me today, right here, as we talk about SmackDown Live, Monday Night Raw. I don't fucking know. Monday Night SmackDown right here on Off the Script. If you guys missed this week's videos, clearly you got Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live going back to last week. Goldberg wants a piece of that sweet Saudi money. Jon Moxley, we talked about Jon Moxley this past week as well. Off the Script this past weekend, we talk about Lio Rush and the real reason why Goldberg signed with WWE once again. It is out of fear. Out of fear, folks. Bill Goldberg is going to Saudi Arabia out of fear. It's not for the fans. It's not because he wants to come back because he enjoys wrestling. WWE offered him fucking an absurd amount of money because his name was brought up in All Elite Wrestling discussions. So WWE signed him to the Saudi show. They're probably going to end up signing him to a fucking Legends deal, and that's why they kept him off of any AEW radar that existed. So we talk about all that on Off the Script. Go and check it out. Link will be right in the annotation, right above the fucking slew of Romans that you see there in the layout. So make sure you guys go and check all that stuff out right there on the channel. Monday Night Raw started off with Michael Cole Roman Reigns was on Monday Night Raw, man. They couldn't wait to get back to Michael Cole yelling the big dog. We all thought it was legitimately going to go away. You believe that? We all thought that it was legitimately over for at least the rest of the year. It ended in 3 weeks. There you go. Vince McMahon came out. He said Monday Night Raw will be one for the ages. Yeah, one for the ages. It was one of the worst shows in the ages of Monday Night Raw, in the annals of Monday Night Raw. He said it's because they're starting with him, Vincent Kennedy McMahon. So this is what we do. We trot out the 70-year-old fucking old man with fucking insane bags underneath his eyes. He looks like a member of the fucking Walking Dead. And this is exactly what we need to see. Vince McMahon on our TV. Everybody makes fun of it, right? When Raw's ratings are in the fucking toilet, just throw up the bat signal. Out comes Vince McMahon from the fucking top of a rooftop. Suddenly Roman Reigns comes out. Here comes the big dog, says Michael Cole. Man, we missed that, said nobody ever. And Vince mouthed the words, "What are you doing?" Those are the same words that I ask every single fucking week. Reigns entered the ring. Vince says he's got that Cincinnati Police Department ready to arrest him if he tries to Superman punch him again. Says he's been assigned to SmackDown, so who the hell do you think you are coming to Monday Night Raw? Reigns told him to watch his tone. Reigns then says he's been on Raw for the past 4 years, 4 or 5 years, he said to be exact, for a long time. And he says he's always wanted to leave this show better than when he found it. But when Roman is there, the shows get progressively worse every single fucking time. Every single time. He then said while he was out on his leave of absence, he saw him and his spoiled kids in the ring tell the whole world that we, the fans, are the authority. And you can cheer, Roman said, but this was all a lie. This was all a lie. And it was. For the first time in forever, I actually agreed with Roman Reigns. But then on the flip side, I tried to dissect this like I usually do, and they're putting Reigns in another babyface situation just to mask the failure that he is and the failure of the return that he is. They tried to mask this in a babyface way that is never going to get him booed. Oh yeah, the McMahons lied. There's no way the fans can boo Roman Reigns if he goes about saying that. But what he said was the truth. McMahon's lied. He says he had spoiled little children running around trying to control everything. He says he doesn't take orders from the McMahons. He takes orders from the WWE Universe. Vince asks if he thinks he can just show up anywhere he wants and the fans will like it. Reigns says if the fans make that kind of noise, he'll just show up every week. So if the fans continue to make mediocre, I guess, sound reactions, if Roman continues to get mediocre reactions from the crowds, he'll show up whenever he wants. Because those reactions in the crowd have died down significantly. Roman ain't the big over babyface that conquered leukemia anymore. You can blame WWE for that. Vince says it's anarchy and that we'd have no control if he just showed up on Monday Night Raw. Really now? You're blaming it all on Roman. The show is in a chaotic way. There's anarchy because of where you remain to be on creative. Suddenly Daniel Bryan's music hit. Bryan walked out. Cole said Bryan is on SmackDown Live, so this has opened the floodgates. The floodgates have been open for many, many, many years. No one has been able to close them on Monday Night Raw. Bryan stepped into the ring and says, "Is this a bad dream?" Yes, it is. It is. We've been living this nightmare for 3 years now. In fact, it's reality. It's not even a fucking dream. We watch this shit every fucking week. "What are you doing?" said Vince. Bryan said ever since the travesty at WrestleMania, where he was robbed by Kofi Kingston, he has spent the last month in solitude. Fans began to chant Kofi, he says, with the crowd chanting Kofi. He was in mediation or meditation, searching for answers that only thought leaders of the world that you and I can understand. And he's talking to Vince McMahon. Vince can't understand the fucking audience that's watching the show. He's going to understand world fucking leaders and theories? Fuck out of here. So when he heard Roman Reigns was showing up on Raw, he thought the two of them, he and Vince, could have an intelligent conversation. Suddenly, Kofi danced onto the stage wearing the WWE title. Kofi noted that they cut his music too early because he wanted to celebrate with his people. He's been celebrating for 5 weeks now. Time to get to business. Enough fucking celebrating. Told Bryan if he had a problem with how things went at WrestleMania, he could have just come to him. Kofi gyrated and said he's the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Bryan said Kofi is an undeserving champion who should have never gotten a title shot at WrestleMania, and his win was a fluke. He called him a pancake-throwing novelty act who should have never gotten a title shot to begin with. Kofi says he has the belt around his waist, and there's nothing he can do about it. As they argued, Vince interrupted and said he had an epiphany. The only epiphany I want from Vince McMahon is him stepping down. Vince asked, what if he had a wild card stipulation where 3 wrestlers can cross borders all the time? There's no telling what could happen. I'm a genius, he says. Kofi sarcastically said this sure was Vince's idea all along. Kofi said after he saw Reigns' tweet, he decided to show up on Raw too. He wanted to have fun. Bryan says he's not here for fun. He came to get his rematch for the WWE Championship. Shut your mouths, he tells the fans. And Drew McIntyre ended up coming out and interrupting this fucking circus of WWE superstars. Drew McIntyre comes out and says if Vince didn't get this situation under control, if nobody in the back has the set to do something about this, it's apparently up to him. This is not SmackDown Live. This is not SmackDown Live presenting Raw. He told Kofi and Bryan they're lucky that he cares more about that egomaniac Roman than them. He said the rules don't apply to Roman because they told him not to show up, but he showed up anyway. Said he got himself drafted to SmackDown so he could duck him. And he thinks it's okay to punch his boss in the face, but he's an egomaniac. So he's going to Claymore his ass back down to earth right now. He threw down the mic. Roman picks up the mic and says, well, it didn't work for you at WrestleMania. Maybe you can try again tonight. Didn't work for Drew. It didn't work for us. Nobody's interested in seeing this match at all again. Vince suggested a WrestleMania rematch or 2. He declared he's brilliant again, a genius again. This is a night you'll never forget. X the Revival. He strutted out of the ring. AJ and his music plays. Styles comes out. Styles said, what are you doing, Vince? What are you doing? He said he finally got to Raw in the Superstar Shakeup. And the next thing he knows, he has SmackDown Live superstars on Raw. Vince says it's called the wild card rule, and I just came up with it. Really now? Again, I ask, what was on television from November all the way to April, with superstars trading shows back and forth? Again, I don't know. But Vince is a genius, though, right? So, Styles said he spent years on SmackDown making it the house that AJ built. But then once he sunk his teeth into Raw, he got a U.S. title opportunity. But suddenly Seth's best friend, Roman, is back. Or Universal Champion, not U.S. title. Universal Championship opportunity. But then suddenly Seth's best friend, Roman, is back. He said if that's how it's going to work, maybe he goes over to SmackDown and brings a couple of his friends to Raw. Who does AJ have on SmackDown that he could call a friend? Weren't Gallows and Anderson drafted to Raw last week? Or maybe AJ missed the memo of them getting drafted to Monday Night Raw. I don't even think Gallows and Anderson know what show they're on. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. That line made me LOL, and not for any reason that it was funny. It made me LOL because Gallows and Anderson were legitimately moved from SmackDown to Raw last week. And AJ goes out there acting like he's a blithering fucking idiot. Well, maybe I'll show up on SmackDown Live and pull some friends from SmackDown back to Raw. Are you fucking kidding me? Unreal. Vince said the wildcard rule is 3 members of SmackDown could be invited to Raw, and 3 members of SmackDown could be invited to SmackDown. The man couldn't speak. The man did not know what he wanted to articulate. Yet this man's on television. Yet this man thinks he's a fucking savior. Yet this man thinks he's a genius. Yet this man thinks that with him on TV, the ratings are somehow going to fucking pop a number. Again, 3 members of SmackDown could be invited to Raw, and 3 members of SmackDown could be invited to SmackDown. Vince is a genius, though. He stumbled, said SmackDown twice, clearly. He then told Styles he must understand what he's trying to say. I don't know what the fuck Vince is trying to say. I haven't understood what Vince wanted to do in the last 3 years. So out walks Seth Rollins with his Universal title. Might as well be the fucking US title. They're both fucking dead. Vince told Seth to take it easy. Seth gave him the benefit of the doubt for 1 week, and he showed his true colors by sucker punching him. He said this is the last time he'll be 1 step ahead of him. Seth said SmackDown was fine before he got there and has been fine since he left. Seth said this is his show, Monday Night Rollins. I don't know if that's such a thing you want to go around actually claiming to the public. This is your show? I don't want anything to do with this fucking show if I'm Seth Rollins, let alone carrying the fucking Universal title. Vince said under his breath that this is his show. Yes, leave it to him. Failures belong with failures. Raw and Vince McMahon go hand in hand. So, Styles says he tried to be a good sport and shake his hand, but he threw the title in his face. Then when he tried to walk away, he kept running his mouth. Styles says he didn't just put him through a table last week, he gave him a phenomenal forearm through a table. He said at Money in the Bank, nothing is going to change except the holder of the Universal Championship. They argued. Vince said, how about they compete tonight? Both got ready. They both thought that they were going to go one-on-one with each other. They took their shirts off and were ready to fight each other. Vince says, no. I'm not going to make you guys fight each other, but you will be a team together. There's that Vince McMahon's a genius again, right? Vince is a genius. How many times have we seen the title match, the champion and challenger, team up on the same team, and then there's a situation in which one of them walks out on the other, right? Such a genius move on Monday Night Raw. So what'd you think was going to happen if you team Rollins and AJ Styles up together? Now, the next question was, who is it going to be? And out comes Bobby Lashley. Out comes Bobby Lashley. I didn't even give a fuck who his opponent was. In fact, I was hoping it was Lio Rush. I knew it was going to be Lio Rush. In fact, I swear to God, I picked up the remote control. I had my fucking thumb on the button already. To go back to the last program I was watching, which was something on the Food Network. And out comes Baron Corbin. I swear to God, if I watched maybe 30 seconds of this match, you'd be lucky. I don't care. I pretty much had this match on in the background, and it was nothing but fucking background noise while I was tweeting my frustrations over what we just seen in the beginning of this show. 30 fucking minutes taken up by Vince McMahon calling himself a genius, which in fact made himself look like a fucking blithering idiot. Let's start from the top. Roman Reigns said he had unfinished business on Monday Night Raw. Did we ever get a conclusion as to what Roman Reigns' unfinished business was? What the fuck was he doing on Monday Night Raw? What was his unfinished business? There was no business of Roman Reigns on Monday Night Raw. He had nothing left to do on that show. So what business was it of Roman Reigns to show up and not take care of business? He could take care of business with Vince on SmackDown Live. The McMahons run both shows. He has no issue with Kofi. He has no issue with Drew McIntyre. He has no issue with Seth Rollins. He has no issue with anybody on that show. So what was his reason for being there? Business of Roman Reigns that he had no business being a part of. Nothing on Raw has Roman's business attached to it. So you made a mistake right there. You didn't even tell us why Roman was there, or you failed to come up with a legit reason as to why Roman was there. So I'm going to go back and attribute it to WWE is desperate. They feel Roman Reigns is a ratings draw. They brought him back to Raw simply to pop a rating. And that's not the man you want on your show to pop a fucking rating. The man is actually killing SmackDown Live, and you're going to bring the fucking dwindling ratings of SmackDown Live over to Monday Night Raw? Please. Daniel Bryan shows up. Daniel Bryan shows up on Monday Night Raw. Wants a WWE Championship match against Kofi Kingston. Why couldn't Daniel Bryan request this match? First of all, I don't even know why the fuck he's requesting a match. Why couldn't he handle Kofi's business or business with Kofi on SmackDown Live? Why does it need to happen on Monday Night Raw? Did we get an explanation as to why, legitimately, why he showed up on Monday Night Raw? One that wasn't fucking half-assed and made no sense? You mean to tell me Daniel Bryan couldn't show up on SmackDown Live to pick a fight with Kofi Kingston? It had to be on Monday Night Raw. I don't get it. And then the biggest fucking thing of all in this Bryan and Kofi situation, which I mentioned before, why is he even asking for a title match when he's done nothing to even earn one? What happened to the rematch clause? That antiquated rematch clause. Oh, Vince is a genius, though. Right? The antiquated rematch clause that you abolished. You got to work towards your title matches now. Yeah, well, Daniel Bryan comes back after being out a month and a match is made? For what? Why? I don't get it. And the best part of all, is Vince thinks we're fucking stupid. Vince thinks we're stupid. Monday Night Raw's the A show, right? Monday Night Raw's the A show. SmackDown is always looked at as the B show. SmackDown is always looked at as Raw's bitch. So now Vince McMahon is trying to tell me, because Raw's ratings are failing, that you're going to go seek help on the B shows? Watch. You're going to take talent from the B show to help your so-called A show? Doesn't really make much sense to me, Mr. McMahon. Unless you think SmackDown is the true A show and Monday Night Raw is the fucking failure that it is. None of this made any sense. Then we proceed to get a Roman Reigns Drew McIntyre match that nobody found a fucking interest in on April 7th. Yet we're supposed to see it again and bear through it again. AJ Styles and Seth Rollins in the ring. Nobody gave a single fuck. And what a way to kill the momentum of your fucking big, oh my god, show. Yeah, let's put them in a fucking tag team match together, which is lazy creative writing, and against Bobby Lashley and Baron Corbin. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This is absolutely fucking ridiculous. On top of all that, the brand split is irrelevant with the wild card stipulation. The brand split is irrelevant. Irrelevant. It is nothing more than a fucking band-aid wound on a fucking machete cut. It's nothing. It's nothing but desperation. It's not gonna work because WWE thinks the idea of rotating superstars from show to show is going to get people more interested. They're not even interested in the fucking guys you're presenting on TV on individual nights. This is not the fucking solution. The solution is to write better fucking shows. The solution is to write engaging fucking programming and interesting program that we, the fans, can invest our times in so that when we finish watching this show, we say, I can't wait to watch the next week. What happened to that idea? What happened to bringing the fans back for more next week and keeping them hooked on next week's show? You did absolutely nothing to build towards next week's show. You left open nothing for me to watch next week's show. You pretty much ended the fucking show with literally no build towards next week. So why am I, the fan, going to tune in to the show next week? But you don't see that as a fucking problem. You think the problem with the ratings is, there's not enough star power on the show. Let me call up a fucking NXT bunch and kill them right on the spot. Let me bring back the fucking family to Monday Night Raw. Let me bring Reigns back. Nothing's working. You've tried literally every excuse in the book. When are you going to look your fucking self in the mirror and realize that the man staring back at you is the fucking sole reason why this show is a fucking failure? I'm done. Absolutely done with this fucking shit. So after everything we've seen in the 30 minutes to open this show, we go to AJ Styles and Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin and Bobby Lashley. Because that's really going to keep the people from changing the channel. So if you thought the open 30 minutes of the show was filled with illogical booking, this just put the cherry on top of the cake. This match went 19 minutes. So the first hour of the show, more than an hour, was taken up by the 30 minutes of Vince McMahon's bullshit. And then this 20-minute tag team match, which seen Seth Rollins, the WWE Universal Champion, get pinned by Baron Corbin, and the illogical fucking booking of Seth Rollins in the match with AJ Styles, which I hate to begin with because it's just so fucking tired and formulaic and lazy of WWE to put the challenger and champion in the same match as tag team partners and then have them develop some sort of situation where one of them walks out on the other. So not only did WWE make the bad booking decision to close this match, Seth Rollins got an end of days from Baron Corbin, was pinned. Mind you, he's the Universal Champion. And AJ Styles walked out on Seth Rollins. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't Seth Rollins the one who was disrespected by AJ Styles last week? So why wouldn't Seth Rollins, before the inadvertent phenomenal forearm tonight, why didn't Seth Rollins walk out on AJ Styles as a way to get him back for what he did last week? Or am I losing my fucking mind? I must be fucking stupid. Again, yet you people out there on social media land are going to praise this show and say, why is JD so negative? Maybe that one went over your fucking head. Maybe everything that I discussed in the open that didn't make any sense went over your fucking head. That is a lot of illogical fucking booking in 1 hour of the program. Stuff that should not be overlooked in the script. Guess Vince McMahon can't find someone to fill in those logic gaps. I guess that position is a little bit too difficult to fill. Bobby Lashley took a nasty fucking spill on the outside, speared Rollins right through the ropes, and he landed chest first on the apron, took a nasty dive, and Corbin and Lashley win. The push of Baron Corbin continues for whatever fucking odd reason. Don't know why. And I don't know why you're, a champion losing on regular TV is not for me. Shouldn't be done, period. But your Universal Champion is losing on regular TV. Your Universal Champ, your World Champion should not be losing at all. That is fucking pathetic. Then you want to know why people don't have momentum. Then you want to know why the fans turn on these guys. Then you want to know why nobody is credibly built up as a fucking legit champion. Look back at shows like this. The answer's right in front of you. Moving on. Next up, we got Sami Zayn. He asks what the critics tonight have to complain about. Do I really have to answer that fucking question? Said Reigns came over from SmackDown because that's exactly what we need to see tonight. Or what we want to see. And we're going to get a WrestleMania rematch of Kofi and Bryan for the WWE title. Said he watched all that go down. It sounds like the fans thought it was great. And he agreed it was great. The difference between when I enjoy something and when you enjoy something is that after the initial excitement of those first couple of hours wear off, you are still you. You are still you. Which means you're stuck with that miserable person you see in the mirror every single day. Sammy, I am fucking great at what I do. Or I should say, Vince, I am great at what I do. So, a few fans were chanting boring, which at this point, it really is teetering on that fucking boring line. Because it's nothing but fucking putting the fans down. And then you want to know why the fans aren't watching. When you fucking disrespect the fans in this manner, how many of them are going to fucking continue to watch? So, out comes Braun Strowman. Out comes Braun Strowman. Well, before Braun Strowman came out, he called the fans cowards because complaining is easy. So out comes Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman chased Sami, which, by the way, is a recycled feud. This is not a fresh feud, if you guys remember. This is not a fresh feud. For those saying it's a fresh feud on social media, you have no memory whatsoever. Because I remember Sami Zayn was given a match with Braun Strowman, and the stipulation was, you need to beat Braun Strowman in 5 minutes. Or you need to survive a match with Braun Strowman for 5 minutes. One or the other. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I do know they had a match several years ago. So Sami Zayn was chased into the crowd. He tried to escape through the crowd. Braun Strowman cut him off at every twist and turn. Chased him to the back eventually, which looked miserable. If Braun Strowman wanted to catch this guy, he really was going to catch him at any point in this thing. But I'm guessing he was playing a little game of cat and mouse. I'm going to tease you. I'm not going to catch you because it's too easy. I'm going to have fun with you. I'm going to toy around with you a little bit. So he chased Sami into the backstage area, and Sami was stopped by a gated segment, or gated portion, I should say, of the backstage area. Tried to pull down the chain to open the gate. Didn't open. The gate magically opened by itself, I assume, because it didn't open. So someone opened the gate for Sami on the opposite side, I do believe. And he tried to weasel himself out of the arena as if he was escaping the fucking Temple of Doom. And Braun Strowman caught him by the legs. And he picked Sami up, proceeded to throw him into a dumpster and then a garbage truck. Now, granted, I started to laugh when I looked at Lance Storm on social media complain about, aren't these vehicles supposed to beep when they back up and not move forward? I don't know what the fuck was going on. All I know is that this garbage truck picked up the dumpster with Sami Zayn inside and threw Sami Zayn into the back of the garbage truck. A metaphor of what we think of Vince McMahon and Monday Night Raw. Where this leads Sami to, I don't know, but if I have to endure another fucking feud with Braun Strowman, spare me. And this is what they canceled Samoa Joe and Braun Strowman for. Hardly something to get excited about. Lucha House Party versus 3 unnamed wrestlers. What do you want me to say here? What do you want me to say here? All 6 of these fucking idiots were in the ring having to watch the backstage segment of Braun Strowman toss Sami Zayn into the dumpster. Lucha House Party win in 1 minute. A waste of time. A complete waste of time. Don't even know why this made the show. I'm sure you could have booked something else on this show instead of this garbage. Moving on here. Ricochet. Ricochet and Bobby Roode. Ricochet and Robert Roode, I should say. This is the next portion of the night in which I explain to you why this did not make any sense whatsoever. This match went 4 minutes. 4 minutes. Robert Roode has a new gimmick, or a revised gimmick, I should say, of the porn star mustache. Robert Roode could be a great heel on Monday Night Raw. Play a role which I think is needed on Monday Night Raw. A good fucking heel. So, we get Robert Roode and Ricochet a couple of weeks back. He beats Ricochet. Ricochet suffers his first loss as a singles guy. We didn't really think anything of it. I think a lot of us in the community said, you know what? I think Robert Roode needed this win. Nobody's going to really give a shit that Ricochet lost. Can't remain undefeated for his entire WWE run. So then Ricochet gets announced for the Money in the Bank ladder match. We question, how the fuck can Ricochet be in the ladder match if he lost to Robert Roode the week before? How did he gain entry into the ladder match? By what means was he chosen for the ladder match? Did Alexa Bliss just randomly call upon Ricochet one night to come to the hotel room and shit went down? Did he perform a 6:30 on Alexa Bliss in the middle of the night? What happened? We don't know. We don't know. So we come to this week, and it's a rematch. It's a rematch between Robert Roode and Ricochet. But this time, Ricochet put his Money in the Bank ladder match opportunity on the line. Now I'm questioning, why would anybody do such a stupid thing? Why would Ricochet make a decision like that and put that opportunity on the line, which is so sacred, which he was given for basically nothing? The logic holes in this, folks, is I don't understand why Ricochet is allowed to put up his opportunity, or why he would even put up his opportunity. Why wrestlers are able to put up their opportunities for the Money in the Bank ladder match, but it's so fucking stupid, says the idiot on social media, to have qualifying matches for said match. Why is it okay to put up the opportunity, but we can't have qualifying matches to determine who goes in? And is Ricochet going to be the only one to put this Money in the Bank opportunity on the line? Are we going to see Andrade do the same thing? Are we going to see Finn Balor do the same thing? Are we going to see Mustafa Ali or Braun Strowman or Baron Corbin or Drew McIntyre do that? How stupid do you think it's going to look if Ricochet is the only one to put his Money in the Bank ladder match opportunity on the line? And then Ricochet beats Bobby Roode, 50-50 booking at its best, in a 4-minute match that will be forgotten by the water cooler tomorrow. And again, I asked WWE, if you're fucking watching me, was Ricochet's first loss worth all of that irrelevance? The answer is no. But they went ahead and did it anyway. So Ricochet lost, and it meant nothing because you put him in the ladder match anyway. And then Robert Roode lost tonight with a gimmick that you need to start building for him to be a credible heel, and now he loses. So you fucked everybody in this situation. You made no sense of the fact that he put the fucking opportunity on the line to begin with, and we never got an explanation as to how these guys got into the ladder match. Yeah, I'm the one who's fucking complaining for no reason every single week. Oh, why don't you just watch the show for fun? How could I watch the show for fun when I'm belittled at every twist and turn and made to look like a fucking stupid idiot? Ridiculous. He hasn't even had a chance to establish his fucking heel persona. And he's already a loss on Monday Night Raw. Dead. Robert Roode will go nowhere. What did he do? He didn't do a 450. He did 630 for the win. Ricochet wins in 4 minutes. Rey Mysterio and Dominic were walking backstage. Heath Slater had to show up on camera. I believe he was walking to catering at this point. Rey entered his locker room. Dominic walked away, and they showed Samoa Joe following behind, stalking Dominic down the hallways. Joe approached Dominic, said that they finally got an opportunity to meet in person. He said he was really eager to congratulate Rey for beating him last week. He said he was eager to humiliate him. He asked if that was just because he beat his dad at WrestleMania. When Dominic wanted to talk, or tried to speak, Joe yelled at him. And I laughed, because I envisioned fathers all around the United States disciplining their son like Samoa Joe disciplined Dominic. Joe yelled at him and said he wasn't done talking. Joe said he looks forward to defending his U.S. title against his dad at Money in the Bank. Now, the one thing I really don't like about this is I feel that both men, Joe and Rey Mysterio, could be doing so much better and so much more on Monday Night Raw. The United States Championship could be in a much bigger program if WWE wanted. They just opt not to do it. And it was reported over the weekend that Dominic possibly has signed a WWE deal and that we could see him in the ring. Dominic stood there. He took it like a man. Joe, under any circumstance, talking to anybody else, they would have looked intimidated. They would have looked weak. But Dominic stood there. He took it like a fucking man. He was not intimidated by Samoa Joe whatsoever. So we could see eventually Dominic get physical with Samoa Joe. I do believe it's going to happen. When it happens, I don't know. But I love Samoa Joe. He just came off as a fucking dick. He came off in a way that I've loved and admired Joe as long as he's been in the WWE. It's just great to see him belittle everybody in that fucking tone, in that savage-like tone. Good stuff. Good stuff. I just don't give a shit about the United States Championship match that they're going to have at Money in the Bank. Lacey Evans versus Ali Katrina. 1 minute. Well, not even 1 minute. Less than that. Women's right. The worst finishing move in all of WWE. Lacey, before this match actually took place, she sent out RSVPs for all the women on the Raw side for Money in the Bank. Alexa, Naomi, Dana Brooke. This is the first time Dana Brooke got invited to anything at all. And Natalya. Now, if you're getting an invitation like this to go stand and watch a jobber do jobber-like things in the ring, like Lacey Evans, that automatically makes you a fucking jobber. Like, I don't understand the fact, if Alexa Bliss was so big and tough, right? If she was Alexa Bliss and cocky, she's the queen of Monday Night Raw, right? If you have this invitation, why are you going to show up and stand by ringside to watch this fucking idiot in the ring win in seconds? Don't you think you're a little bit better than that? I would have ripped the fucking envelope and the invitation up and said, fuck this bitch. I'm not going to stand by any ring. Lacey Evans wins in seconds. And she grabs the microphone. And she says at Money in the Bank, Becky Two Belts will lose everything she has. And it's going to be courtesy of a women's right. She said everybody deserved a front row seat to see what a legitimate lady is capable of. So if you wanted to accept this invitation to see somebody who is completely lackluster perform in a ring, by all means, this was the show for you. Becky's going to lose everything. She said she's aware one of them might win the Money in the Bank ladder match, and she hopes that they're smarter than they look, because if any of them have the audacity to cash in on her after she wins the Raw Women's title, they will quickly regret losing whatever opportunity they had to become champion, because they'll end up coming short, just like the man will come up short. Out comes Becky Lynch. She came out with both titles. She threw the titles down to the ground, ran to the ring, and attacked Lacey Evans. Brawl by ringside. Becky tried to apply the armbar, and Lacey scurried out of the ring and ran up the ramp. There you go. Garbage. Garbage. And what I don't believe is people are actually blind to the fact that Lacey Evans is a superstar in the making. I don't know what the fuck you people are watching, but what I watch on TV when Lacey Evans comes out is nothing more than sheer boredom. Boredom. I don't know how anybody could look at this woman and think, superstar. She didn't have it in NXT. She doesn't have it on the main roster. Nothing has been told about Lacey Evans. Have we gotten one vignette? No. Have we gotten one promo detailing what she was all about and where she came from, the backstory of Lacey Evans? No. Did we get anything as far as an in-ring aspect to Lacey Evans to make the fans believe she's worthy of a title match? No. 3 strikes and you're out. The only reason why this woman is where she is because of her looks. The only reason why anyone is saying anything about Lacey Evans is because of her looks. If you are blind to that fact, you shouldn't be talking professional wrestling, let alone WWE. That is 100% fact. When you can come up with a legit reason to make me believe why Lacey Evans deserves what she's getting right now at Money in the Bank, or why she deserves any spotlight, please let me know. Because you can't find anything legit outside of a fucking excuse. It is a excuse. It is a typical WWE apologist answer. Bullshit. This segment is fucking terrible. The women's division is fucking terrible. How you went from Becky Lynch on top of the fucking world. I'm not saying Becky Lynch and her momentum is the same that it was at WrestleMania. I'm not saying that. It's not. It's nowhere close to it. But Becky Lynch is still the number one merchandise seller in WWE. Becky Lynch is still wildly popular. She's still, especially tonight, I don't know anybody on that show that got a bigger ovation than Becky Lynch. Kofi Kingston's momentum is dying. Seth Rollins' momentum is dying. Becky Lynch's momentum is dying, but she's still popping big ovations in the crowd. She's still getting that big crowd reaction. But this is not her fault. You can't pin everything on Becky Lynch. It's the way WWE has portrayed her. It's what WWE has done creatively for her. They did 3 things to fuck up Becky Lynch to a point where she can't come back from it. WWE gave her 2 titles with no fucking plan behind it. She's carrying around 2 fucking titles and she don't know what to do with them. WWE doesn't know what to do with them per storyline. They're overexposing Becky Lynch to a point where fans are smartening up and they don't want to see Becky Lynch as much as they do. And Becky Lynch has no one to fucking feud with. She has legitimately no one to feud with. Every great babyface needs a great villain. Her Joker is gone. She's the Red Sox and the Yankees are in last place. There's no feud. It means nothing. It means no, I don't know about depending on the fucking standing this year. You know, looks like they're about even. But you know what I mean. She don't have her Yankees to the Red Sox. She doesn't have her Joker to Batman. You know? She doesn't have that. So how are you going to build Becky Lynch up in a meaningful way when you're feuding her against a fucking Lacey Evans that has absolutely nothing about her but fucking looks? She's everything that the women's division should not be. Come on. I can't be this smart and I can't be this fucking logical and everybody else be a blithering fucking idiot. The women's division on Monday Night Raw is an absolute fucking embarrassment. You got Becky Lynch and a bunch of nobodies. Naomi, dead. Natalya, boring. Lacey Evans, useless. Dana Brooke, cheesecake. Are you fucking serious? And Ruby Riott still can't find TV time. Unreal. Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder versus the Viking Raiders. Eric and Ivar. Hanson and Rowe. Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder did not even get a fucking entrance. Tag team champions don't get an entrance. Who gives a shit? Viking Raiders win in 3 minutes. Man, the Viking Raiders have been on Raw for 4 weeks. And I am sad to say it. They have fallen to the almighty fucking Monday Night Raw. They were not able to Viking their way. They were not able to axe their way through the garbage that was Monday Night Raw. They died a horrible Viking death. It is amazing. It is absolutely fucking mind-blowing how these guys were portrayed in NXT as the biggest fucking team that this company had coming up through the ranks. And when they hit Monday Night Raw, they are absolutely fucking dead on arrival. No reaction to the Viking Raiders. No reaction to Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. No reaction to any of the tag teams at all on Monday Night Raw. Yet I'm supposed to fucking care. Do you know what it does to a fan of watching these guys in NXT and then see them die 1,000 fucking deaths on Monday Night Raw? You're not going to care. They got swallowed up by the machine, and now they're just like everybody else. They're not important. They don't feel special anymore. WWE continues to fuck with these NXT guys. Ricochet still has the fucking pew, 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 and the thunder in his fucking entrance music. Took away his lasers. Viking Raiders, the War Raiders, whatever the fuck you want to call them. They got nothing special about their entrance. They took all that away and stripped that down to fucking nothing. Changed their fucking names 6 fucking times already. Changed their fucking moveset. Changed the names of their moves. Went from sounding cool to sounding fucking lame as shit. Dead. Dead. What else you want me to say? Firefly Funhouse number 3. Mercy the Buzzard popped out of the box. Burped. Looks like he was eating something or chewing on something. Bray asked him what was in the box and Mercy told him it was nothing. Bray asked what he is trying to hide and he called Bray an old hag and tried to tell him to go to sleep. That's what I tell every one of you on Monday night. I got you covered, bro. I got you covered every Monday night. Don't worry. He reached in the box and pulled out, what was the rabbit's name? I don't even know the fucking rabbit's name. Irrelevant the rabbit. Whatever the fucking rabbit's name was, he was ripped in half. Mercy ate him. He's been torn apart. Mercy said he was trying to force him, the rabbit tried to force Mercy to adhere to his bohemian worldview and his ideologies. Sounds like fucking Vince McMahon. The one thing I did like about this is Mercy the Buzzard actually paid homage to Waylon Mercy. You know what I mean? He gave you that little, you know what I mean at the end of the whole fucking skit. That was pretty cool. I actually popped a little bit for that. I smiled for the first time in fucking 3 hours. So, Bray says it's okay to express yourself however you want. Complete fucking deviation from Sami Zayn. It's okay to express yourself how you want. That's what we do here. It's okay to express yourself how you want, including creating a painting, flying a kite, or even tearing apart a rabbit. The hurt heel image briefly appeared on the screen in this kind of flash scene. You've seen both of his gloves. Bray says he thinks Mercy should be rewarded. So he rewarded Mercy with picnic time. And if you go back, that's another homage, another situation that pays the way forward to Waylon Mercy. Because Waylon Mercy, one of his first promos was him in the park talking about families' picnics. If you guys want to go find it on YouTube, you guys can certainly go and do that. So this particular episode of Firefly Funhouse paid homage to Waylon Mercy, not only with that one-liner, you know what I mean? And then the picnic seems to have a heavy Waylon Mercy influence over it. So it was picnic time, and then we see kids wearing a bunch of hats, and one had a beach ball, one had a fucking piñata, I believe. They were wearing sombreros. We seen the image of the sombrero, or the Mexican hat, hanging on the wall last week while he was painting. So I guess that image was a foreshadowing of what we got this week. But all the kids looked to be like zombified. They were all staring like. And they all looked like they had this miserable expression on their face. Now, I don't know what Bray Wyatt did to them, but that's how I look, and that's how we all look and feel when we watch Monday Night Raw for 3 hours every week. So it's like these kids were subjected to 3 hours of Monday Night Raw on the Firefly Funhouse. They all sat there miserable. Bray told them he will light the way. All they have to do is just let him in. And again, he said it in a very sadistic way. Not as sadistic as the week before. It was a little bit more toned down, but he was still kind of sinister in his look. He said it very seriously, and then he waved, "Bye, I'll see you next week." And that was it. So, it's interesting. I don't know where it's going. I don't know how long this is going on for, but if you guys have heard, I know Justin LaBar interviewed the man behind the Firefly Funhouse. He said it's going to get more sadistic and it's going to get more sinister as the weeks go on. You're just going to have to watch. So, I enjoyed this one more than I did last week. Because this week, the homage to Waylon Mercy was heavy. And the fact that now, whatever Bray is doing and the effects of the Firefly Funhouse, we've seen firsthand the effects on the kids. I don't know what this is going to do for the shareholders and the stockholders because they were upset about it to begin with. But the fact that we now have his influence now affecting the kids, I sense this is going to get a little bit more creepy as the weeks go on. Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. Reigns wins. Oh, actually, it's a no contest. I thought it was a disqualification because they called it a no contest, but really it was a disqualification, and Reigns won by disqualification because Reigns hit Drew McIntyre with the spear, and then out came Elias and Shane McMahon, and they jumped in and attacked. Elias joined, double team, 2-on-1 beatdown, obviously on Reigns, and then The Miz ran out with a steel chair and chased Shane into the crowd. The Miz pursued him. Elias stayed in the ring and held Reigns up, and Drew gave him a Claymore kick. Elias and Drew stood over Reigns, clearly happy with what they did, but Miz was chasing Shane McMahon in the back. So Shane momentarily lost the Miz. Charlie Caruso tried to get an interview with him. She asks what he plans to do in a cage against The Miz at Money in the Bank when he's got nowhere left to run. Shane ran down a staircase and he tried to get into a limo. And The Miz caught him and blindsided him with a steel chair, and they started to brawl by the limo. Shane kicked The Miz between the legs and then got into the limo eventually and sped off. There you go. Really nothing of note there. It was just whatever. The Miz finally got his hands on Shane McMahon a little bit, and then Shane McMahon, the heel, got away. So you'll have to watch what happens in the steel cage match. The Revival. The Revival were in the ring. No entrance for the Revival, of course. They were in the ring with Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, who AJ Styles presumed was still on SmackDown Live. Usos came out, said the Revival called themselves top guys and the hottest tag team in WWE. They both laughed. They said they have an idea to make them hotter. Have you ever heard of Icy Hot? Let me introduce Oozy Hot. They read some puns. Slowly, they started to tease the Revival, and they counted down to when they would start burning with this Oozy Hot. So they did all this comedy stuff, the Revival did, rubbing their trunks and, giving themselves a rub down with their jackets, and they were dipping their fucking hands into their trunks, and they were itching their balls, and they were fucking wiping their ass on the ring. I'm looking at this, and I'm shaking my fucking head. I'm shaking my head. The Revival then ran up the stage and poured water down their trunks. The Usos revealed that the water actually made it worse. So they let out high-pitched screams and ran to the back. Now, the only person in the arena that found this funny was Vince McMahon. This was absolutely fucking embarrassing. And it's only going to get worse. WWE.com actually foreshadowed this on their website days before Monday Night Raw. And it's only going to get worse. And the reason why the Revival is being treated like this is because they didn't sign 5-year contract extensions to stay with the WWE. If WWE's intent was to keep the Revival on their payroll and keep them happy so that they don't go anywhere else, this is the complete opposite of that. They're as good as fucking gone come April 2020. WWE doesn't give a fuck about the Revival. The Revival is going to show you 10 times over how much they don't give a fuck about WWE and their money. It all comes down to fucking what's more important. It's happiness over money. Clearly, WWE and their ways of throwing around money don't really appeal to everybody else. Just go ask Dean Ambrose. The Revival are as good as gone. They're as good as elite come April 2020. Why they would sign a contract extension with the company, don't know why. They got a full fucking year on their contract anyway. You're going to have them signed for another fucking 5 years. How much goes into that 5 years? How much of how much of that 5 years do they legitimately want? So many factors that go into it, right? And on top of that, WWE has shown them nothing in the ways of it getting better for them. So why the fuck would they sign? Why would they sign? I don't get it. So WWE is getting back at them. They already tacked on 2 months to Dash Wilder's contract. Scott Dawson was out for 4 months. Sooner rather than later, they're going to add that contract extension to him, or they're going to add that time to his contract extension. So the Revival isn't going to go to AEW when they want. WWE is going to make this team's lives a living hell. They're going to make their lives a living fucking hell on Monday Night Raw. If I was the Revival, I'd walk out. I don't even give a fuck. I don't even give a shit. Walk out, pull a Neville. Pull a Punk. It's over. It was so fucking cringe. I did not laugh once at this comedy shit. And this is not making the Revival look good. On the same side of the fucking coin, it's not making the Usos look good. The Usos were the best tag team in all of WWE, and they've come to Monday Night Raw, and they've been reduced to nothing but fucking comedy. Vince rather utilized them in fucking comedy roles than actually let them do what they do best. Entertain in the ring. They've turned the fucking Usos, who were tough and fucking blunt and in that ring wanting to fucking win and win championships, to being WWE's version of Jackass. Absolutely fucking pathetic. Really fucking pathetic. No Way Jose made his way to the ring. WWE wanted to drive people away from the third hour, I see. No Way Jose came out. He started his conga line. Lars Sullivan came out. He destroyed everybody in the conga line. He beat up Jose. And Lars just gave it to him. Beat him up right there by ringside. Backstage, Vince was on the phone. He said, only 3 or else I'll suspend somebody. Maybe I'll fire them. Said Elias doesn't count because he was with Shane. Logical. I guess Elias is the 4th guy, but it's okay for him to be with Shane. Whoever he was talking to said he was a genius. It must have been his wife. In comes Lars, or Kevin Dunn. It must have been Kevin Dunn on the fucking phone. In came Lars. Vince, who was sitting, looked intimidated. Vince told the person on the phone he'd allow 4 individuals, not just 3. Good talk. And Lars Sullivan said nothing. He just looked up and down at Vince McMahon, and that was it. He walked out of the office. So, I don't really understand why we need the shakeup. Even more so at this point. If you're going to have 4 people from SmackDown Live randomly traded and showing up on Monday Night Raw every single week, what is there a shakeup for? I don't get it. Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan in the main event. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Outside of the huge bump that Kofi took over the top rope where he fucking hit the floor and it looked like his head bounced off the fucking mat. Outside of that, I barely watched the match. Because I'm going to go back to what I mentioned in Off the Script, Part 1, where we talked for 45 minutes to open the show about what I would change. One of the things I would change about this fucking embarrassing, horrendous show is the fact that WWE needs to pick spots where they put commercials. The WWE Championship was not defended on this show in 3 years. Meanwhile, you got Seth Rollins and Kofi Kingston in the fucking main event on the Raw after WrestleMania. I guess that didn't count. So, for the WWE Championship in a sole title match in the main event of Monday Night Raw, tonight was the first time in 3 years. You give these guys a 20-minute buffer, and you take 2 fucking commercial breaks in between when the action was just getting interesting. Do you know what that does to a viewer watching at home? I picked up the remote control and I turned on the Braves-Dodgers game. I didn't give a shit. And I didn't give a shit when they came back from the 2 commercial breaks. After they came back, we seen Kofi Kingston hit the Trouble in Paradise after Daniel Bryan missed his big running knee, and that was it. Kofi wins clean, they go off the air, they don't sell anything for the following week, they don't keep you interested and ask you to come back for something interesting on the following week's show, and that was it. Is it going to work? Who knows? Are they going to pop a bigger rating than they did last week? Who knows? All I know is everything that WWE has done is a fucking excuse. Everything is nothing but a temporary solution. Again, the problem with these shows is not the talent. The problem with the shows is Vince and how you're booking the show. Book better shows and people will give a shit. How many fucking times do I have to tell you, book in the model that NXT does every single week? Then I'll watch. Then maybe I won't be fucking negative every week. It's not about the entertainment. It's not entertainment. It's not funny. I'm not watching this fucking shit to be entertained by fucking lame comedy segments. Every single fucking aspect of this show demoralizes the people watching. It puts down the people watching. It's riddled. The first hour was riddled with handful of fucking logic gaps that nobody seems to want to address. It cannot continue this way. People on social media are dropping like flies. Podcasts don't want to fucking... They don't want to do it anymore. People are complaining. People don't want to watch. People are not DVRing it anymore. They're listening to shows like this. They're not rushing home to watch pro wrestling, which they've been doing for the last fucking 30 years, like me. They don't want to do it anymore. They're seeking other avenues of entertainment on a Monday night. How many times can we have our intelligence insulted before the audience is just not there at all anymore? Something needs to change. Desperately. It's not the talent, it's Vince and the way the shows are being booked. That is it. Book a better show and people will fucking watch. I'm getting out of here. I've been here for too long already as it is. Thank you guys so much. I'm getting out of here. I'll be back with more content. I got a slew of content coming this week. Don't go anywhere. Hope you guys have a good night. Make sure you guys follow me on social media at JD from NY206 on both Twitter and Instagram. And we got a lot more to cover this week as far as WWE goes. Thank you guys so very much. Hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you guys this week back with more content on the channel. I'll talk to you later.